Welcome back. Today I plan to play a live rapid game here on camera. It's been a little while since I've done that, and I finally built up the courage to do it again. I've already pulled up the play screen here. If you're new to my channel, I'm not a titled player or a chess coach, not even close to being an expert. I'm just a random person trying to get better at chess, and one of the ways that I gauge how much better I've gotten is by my rapid rating, which is currently 1263 on chess.com. Of my last 4 games, I won 2 and drew 2. So I've been doing pretty good the last few times that I've played. It shouldn't have been that hard to build up the confidence to play again, but it is difficult to do this on camera knowing that, I could make some really embarrassing error in front of everybody. Also, right now I'm a little distracted because I did a test video, as I do every day before I actually start recording, and the microphone wasn't working. Apparently Windows installed an update this morning, and every time Windows installs an update, the microphone doesn't connect to the OBS software. I have no idea why that is, but I'm glad that I do the test video every time. I'm going to try to clear my head of that. I'm going to choose the 10-minute game with no increment because that seems to be about the right length of game for one of these videos. Whenever I've tried a longer time control, I think I always feel a little bit of time pressure because I know I'm recording. And also, I still don't think I'm good enough to know what to do with all that time. Let's click play, see what we get. We have no idea what we'll get. I still don't like that new opening screen. Let's play C4, which is the English opening, and find out what my opponent does. Okay, they have played the standard response. I will play knight to c3 and wait for them. Usually they get the knight out to f6, but they got that knight out instead. I think when that gets played, I can still go ahead and play g3, intending to fianchetto here. Okay, that does nothing because this knight isn't pinned. I could just leave it there, or I could just go ahead and attack the bishop, I think. Okay, I'll trade off the knight for the bishop, and then I will chase off that knight. Now I had a situation very close to this once before, and I fianchettoed, but the problem with that is that they can play d5, and when I take it, they get their queen here, which threatens my rook, so I had to play b4. I think that's the exact problem with this situation. So I think I'm supposed to wait to fianchetto. Now that I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do about, because it's the same problem if I fianchetto my bishop now. No, now I can fianchetto the bishop, right? But then that pawn's hanging. So should I go ahead and push that pawn, or should I protect it? Oh, I'm just not sure. You know what? Let's threaten the knight. I don't think they'll take this pawn while their knight's under threat. I'm definitely in unfamiliar territory now. Okay, the knight is coming here, and that pawn is still under threat. And now I can't protect the knight with my queen because their knight's pointing at those 2 squares. But I can protect the pawn with the pawn, I think. Let's do that. So they won't take that pawn. Now I think I can fianchetto. Let's do this. We're aiming here, but we're not really intending to take it. Although we could, and come back and check, and then they would take, and then we would take, but then our pawns would be messed up over there. What I want to do here is play e3 and get my other knight out here. Oh, they've protected that. Okay. Let's see if we can chase this knight a bit, and then get this knight out. I think that knight has to go over there, which is fine, and then we'll get our knight out here, and prepare to castle. And I think everything in my position is defended, except for this bishop over here, and this rook over here. We can defend the rook by developing the bishop. Oh, but then that would leave that pawn undefended. Can develop the bishop over there, but let's castle first and then maybe worry about developing the bishop and the queen this way. I think this is fine. And then here. Let's see. If I just go ahead and develop the bishop like I said, and they take here and I take back, then they can take. So let's go ahead and take that pawn. They took back very quickly. Then we will develop this bishop. Put the rook behind it. I assume they're about to push a pawn? No. They're lining up their queen for some reason. I don't think they want the queen at the front of that battery, but I also could be mistaken. I really do hope they move their c-pawn right now. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, they have removed the queen from that equation. Let's see. Come this way with this knight, but then we're just trading knights. I don't think that's great. And I just briefly considered moving my f-pawn, but then that undefends the e-pawn. So should I move the e-pawn first now that this square is defended by my knight? I think so. Let's make that knight go somewhere. If it does go in here, we'll trade for it and pick up a pawn on the way, I think. Okay, it did go back, but now my light squared bishop is blocked in. So should we play d4 now? I have 2 pieces guarding that square. Actually, I think we should put the rook there first and then play d4. Oh, they're intending to double the rooks here? That is something that they can do. I should probably not have my queen right there, but I think it's okay. And I'm more than a minute down on time, so I'm going to have to pick up the pace just a little bit, but I don't want to move so quickly that I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. I assume they're going to bring the other rook over. Well, that was the reason for putting the rook on b6, was to bring the other rook over, correct? But maybe this gave them pause for a moment. They're trying to decide whether to take it or let me take them. Well, I'm going to take them, threatening their knight immediately, and if they take back with the pawn, then this gets their queen. That's the idea of that move. They did. Okay, I'll take their queen. And they took back. All right. Now I have to be a little careful here. Let's see, what else? Is that undefended? No, that's doubly defended, but now it's triply defended. I'm adding a defender to the rook as well. And the bishop is twice defended, so I think it's okay. And I feel pretty good that I got rid of their queen. Okay, they're attacking this pawn, which is not defended. I can just move it though, right? And if I do, they could bring the bishop down here and threaten my queen, but I could just move the queen. And I think I would be okay. Let's do that. Threaten the rook. They can threaten my queen if they want. I will just move it. I still want to be able to protect this piece and the rook. So if they do play that bishop move, then I'll move my queen before worrying about taking the rook. But they might move the rook instead. I don't know. They did move the rook. Okay. Let's see. I think I can just preempt the bishop move by pulling the queen over here. Get as many pieces on dark squares as possible due to that light squared bishop. Okay. They've come after the rook. That was a good plan, because now when I move the rook, they're going to get the bishop. Very nice. But they're going to get the bishop anyway. Oh, wait. No, I can just take the... Wow. That took me way too long to see that I could just take the bishop. And then I'm going to put the knight back where it was, where it's continuing to guard their... Oh, they took that? Okay. And I think I'm well on my way to winning this game. I got nervous there in the middle of that, but once they took with the pawn to give up their queen, I was pretty confident after that. But I still had to be careful. And like you saw, I almost missed the fact that I could just take that bishop. Okay, I was up nearly +8 here. I have one game review per day, and I think I have not used one yet today, so I'm going to use it on this game. Oh, it says I played really well. 90.5%. Oh, I feel good about that. And my opponent played pretty well also, but with one blunder and one mistake. I had one inaccuracy, which is not listed here. Shouldn't the inaccuracy be listed here? Oh, and it says I played like an 1850. I wish I could do that more often. And I did the best in the middle game, which is rare for me. I'm going to guess that my inaccuracy was right there, because that looks like I had developed a nearly +1 lead and then dipped down, and their blunder was probably their queen move? No. I thought their blunder was here. Yeah, I thought this was the blunder. Backing up? That was their blunder. Switching over to the analysis tab. Oh, but this was my only move. Oh, wow. My only move. Okay, but maybe on this tab, it'll show me where my inaccuracy was. It was there. I was up nearly +1, +0.9 according to this, and my best move here was F4. I know I mentioned F4, but I don't think it was at this position. Not sure what F4 would be about, and it said at that point I would expect them to put their bishop over there, and then I would take that pawn. And my next best move was C5, and I wouldn't expect them to take, not sure why. I would expect them to bring their bishop over here to B3, and then I would just move my queen over one. And my next best move was D4 now. But I brought this rook over before I pushed D4, and if they had played C5 here, we would have been even. Or if they had played knight to G6. But instead they made the mistake, their first mistake of playing that, and I should have played D4 here. Okay, this is where I did play D4. And they should have gotten the queen out of this row, because they should have seen that that's why I put my rook here and that I was intending to take. They could have either taken, in which case I would have taken with my bishop, or they could have moved the queen onto the C file. Okay, but instead they blundered, so they had their mistake and a blunder were on consecutive moves. I didn't realize that, and then this is where I did play this, assuming that they would not take back. And had I been my opponent, I would not have found the best move. It says the best move is knight to G6. And their second best move is queen to B7, and their third best move was taking. Wait, if that was their third best move, why was it... Oh, it wasn't counted as a blunder. Okay, sorry. I kept thinking that had to have been their blunder, but it wasn't. That's their third best move, and it's not that much worse than knight to G6. My question is, why wouldn't they move this knight? The F knight is the one that's immediately under threat. Was I missing something here? Okay, what if they had moved the F knight, say, back here? Okay, that still would have been +4.5. And then I would have taken here with my pawn, not with my rook because their knight's protecting that. And then they would have played knight to G6. And I just would have had a passed pawn with the rook behind it that they can take anytime they want. Yeah, see, if they had done that, I would have had no idea I was ahead because I would have just been up 2 pawns. Because I just took one here and I just took one here, but I'm up +5. But instead, they played their third best move, which wasn't what I suggested. They played here, which let me know that I was ahead because I got the queen for the rook. Yeah, Stockfish and humans are very different. I'm positive that that's what I would have played here, is knight to e8, letting me have this pawn, and then they could have played knight to g6, and I would have been up 2 pawns, but how would I have known that I was up +4, +5? Wow. Oh, and apparently I got a bunch of points for that. I think it was 1263 when I started, but now it says 1286. Yeah, I got 23 points for winning that game. Did I really wait that long? Okay, I waited just over a month to play that game. It's been a few weeks between each game here this year, but apparently waiting a month gave me 23 points for winning that game, so I'm happy with that. And you can see my last 5 games here, 3 wins and 2 draws. This one here, I'm not sure why the review button is there instead of the numbers because I reviewed that game on camera. That was the one that went 120 moves that my opponent had an advantage, but they messed up. But yeah, I guess it lost my review of that, so it doesn't show the percentages there. Anyway, well, I'm happy with that. I need to update the graphic that goes on my intro screen here for the videos. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time here. I'll see you next time.